On this episode of Treasure Trader, Billy Jamieson heads to Paris to buy an ancient Egyptian mummy. And then, out of the blue, discovers the treasure of a lifetime.
It just looks like a piece of wood, but...
Oh, that's beautiful.
But the competition to buy it is incredibly intense.
Billy, we started talking to Sotheby's.
It's a relic he's desperate to own.
This is like finding an unknown Vermeer.
This could be one of the biggest sales I've ever made.
It's rare that Billy Jamieson's home, but today he's catching up on his correspondence. Any of it could lead to a new treasure.
On any given day, loads of pictures come. I get emailed in the mail. I get photos every day.
And today is no different. A query from Massachusetts has captured his attention.
I would like your opinion on an attached piece. I believe it is late 18th century, 19th century ceremonial staff or club. It's a hard and heavy wood teak. Holy fuck. It's not a club, it's a God Staff. Jessica?
A Polynesian God Staff is one of the rarest pieces of tribal art on Earth.
And I think it's real.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is fucking hot. This is good. This just looks like a piece of wood, but...
Carved as ornate effigies to their ancient gods, Christian missionaries burnt almost all of them. Today, only 13 are known to exist. And this could be the 14th. If it is, it's worth a fortune.
Wow, this is amazing. Polynesian art is among the rarest in the world and demanding record prices. It's highly collectible. There's hardly any of it on the market.
The staff has surfaced in Cape Cod, where it's guarded the lobby of a museum for over a century.
The God Staff was in an umbrella stand by the front door. There was a gentleman that had come in that said this was a pretty valuable piece.
I think it's ironwood. It's so difficult to carve, so these guys are master carvers.
Billy's excited and worried. He's not the only dealer Ray's contacted.
I knew it had some value to it. I'd also contacted Sotheby's.
One of the world's biggest auction houses will be tough to beat. To gain the advantage, Billy can't waste time checking it out.
I'm pretty well ready to pull the trigger on this. Right now I'd go 200, 250. Dear Ray.
Billy takes the plunge. Sight unseen, he offers a cool $250,000.
If you don't move on these deals quickly, quite often somebody else will get it.
And in Billy's business, news always travels fast. He knows there will be counter-offers.
There's rivals and people going after the same things you want.
But he also knows that he can't afford to wait for an answer.
In
I
front.
know, I'm not allowed to...
No, you're not.
Billy's off to Paris to pick up his newest treasure, an ancient Egyptian mummy he's bought from antiquities dealer Patrice Billet.
Patrice, how are you?
Pleased to see you, Here
Oh my
is
God.
baby.
Oh, there she is. She or he, we don't know.
Whoever it was, they were rich enough to afford being properly wrapped and laid to rest in an ornate coffin. Billy paid $45,000 to buy it. The mummy's been sealed in its coffin for decades.
Let's open it.
Billy needs to check its condition before shipping it home.
Mummy dust. Whoa, it's a lot of dust.
See the food.
Yeah, this mummy is very fragile, and it's the condition is in pretty poor.
He'll have to restore it with care if he wants to resell it for a profit.
I don't buy mummies every day, so this mummy now is going to be secured and professionally packed and ready for its trip across the ocean.
It's time to head home. But since he's been gone, there's been no response to his offer for the God Staff.
Hello?
Hi, honey. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I just had a great meeting.
Well, I've heard nothing about the God Staff.
I hate to say it, I think it's the price.
Come home. I know we'll know something soon.
I love you, and I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.
Billy's worried. His $250,000 offer may not be enough. So to find out what it's really worth, he decides to take a detour to Brussels to meet Kevin Conroy, a friend and expert in Polynesian art.
Well, you mentioned on the phone you found another treasure, so I hope I can sort of shed a little light on it for you.
For sure.
And when Billy tells him what the treasure is,
I mean, I'm feeling, 100% on this being the real deal.
Kevin is blown away.
This is extraordinary. I mean, but if you had a wish list, this is like the top of the list, This is like finding an unknown Vermeer.
Well, the missionaries were notorious for burning these things as gods, and that's what made these things so rare.
The ones that did survive were brought back to England by the same missionaries.
So, Billy, they took them back and to show their congregations the good work they were doing.
And then they were sold to art collectors like William Oldman.
The Oldman collection. It's the most famous Polynesian collection ever. These are his staff gods. I think he had 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably the odds one of these coming up again for sale are pretty slim.
It was once in a lifetime.
I'm pursuing this pretty aggressively.
Good, well, I mean, obviously, this is the thing you don't let slip.
Kevin's confirmed it. The God Staff could be worth millions. Billy has to buy it. But has his $250,000 offer already been beat?
Jessica?
Billy Jamieson is trying to buy one of the rarest relics on Earth,
I think it's real.
a South Pacific God Staff.
Wow, this is amazing.
But there's been no response to his $250,000 offer.
It just went dead. And the person's not returning my calls or answering my emails. Sadly, I might have lost it.
Even worse, news that there's a God Staff for sale is spreading.
There's already gossip going around my business that a God Staff has come out of New England. Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Ronnie Nasser, a New York art dealer who knows Billy well, is calling about the rumor.
It's a world-class object.
It's a long way from a picture on the internet to being in my hands.
Give him whatever he asks for it, period. Or are we going together on it?
Okay, Ronnie, I really appreciate it. He wants it.
It's Billy's worst nightmare. More competition means that he has to get more aggressive.
This is probably my only chance to own this piece. And I'm willing to step up to the plate and pay him a really good price for it.
To win this prize, Billy's going to need a lot more cash.
Whatever you have to pay it. And what that will be, I'm not sure.
He needs to make some big sales fast. And one thing he's got a surplus of are Egyptian mummies.
Right now I have 3 Egyptian mummies as house guests.
Each one could be worth hundreds of thousands.
I don't know too many people with mummies in their homes.
But Billy needs all the help he can get to sell them.
I invited Dr. Ben Harrer to check out my mummies.
Dr. Ben Harrer once studied the mummy of Tutankhamun and determined that the boy king may have died from a horse kick.
I'm hoping he may be able to help me find a home for one of my mummies. Well, here's one of the new arrivals.
Billy bought this mummy for $45,000 and wants to triple his investment.
I think that makes this mummy special, It's the skeleton is intact.
Obviously, the head had been unwrapped.
Could have been unwrapped 2,000 years ago. This was a low-class mummification.
So far, Ben's not impressed.
But I have a feeling he's gonna like the one downstairs.
The mummy Billy just bought in Paris still isn't restored, so its real value is unknown.
Ben, let me show you this other mummy we've got here. The coffin and mummy have seen better days. You can see the toes coming through.
Right.
This mummy needs work, but Ben's more interested in the coffin.
It was once actually a very handsome case. That's kind of a pleasing face, actually. Let me take a snapshot of that.
So far, Ben isn't impressed with any of the mummies.
This is gonna be a tough sell.
But Billy saved the best for last.
So I've had this fellow now for about 3 or 4 years.
It's got a nice home. You can see over here the flank incision where they went in to extract the intestines and the stomach. It was the most expensive mummification you could have. So he probably was a high priest.
And a high priest could bring a high price.
An Egyptian mummy high priest in a coffin sold at Christie's in New York for, I think it was about $1,100,000. Now, you have a friend that may be interested in this mummy?
He has 2 mummies already in his museum.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he might be interested in a third. He's open to temptation.
Ben's agreed to help, but if Billy wants the God Staff, he can't wait. He needs to unload a mummy now.
How are you? Bill Jamieson here in Toronto. Have I got a mummy for you? The reality is, there's not a lot of people on this planet that collect mummies. They're difficult to sell. It's a gentleman probably in his late 30s. I know you have one, but I think the other one you have is totally unwrapped. You need an institution or an individual that really wants a mummy. Well, we know that mummies sell tickets. As you know, mummies sell tickets. Well, remember, mummies sell tickets. I'm asking $145,000 US.
Finally, he receives an email from an American university.
It's always been a draw. People's fascination with mummies. Egypt sells.
In less than a day, Billy's found a potential buyer. But can he now get his price? Billy Jamieson has discovered a rare treasure, a Polynesian God Staff.
And I think it's real.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But to buy it, he has to sell his ancient Egyptian mummies.
They come up so rarely, and if somebody wants one and you've got one, you can kind of pretty well name your price.
He's got a university on the hook for one of them.
I'm asking $145,000 US.
And finally, they bite.
Okay, it's yours. I'll do the paperwork, get it crated up, and arrange to ship it down to you. You got it. Take care. Bye-bye. So, Jessica, we sold a mummy. I purchased this mummy for $45,000, and we sold it for $140,000. Not bad for a day's work.
And it's just in time. After a week of excruciating silence,
Bill Jamieson, Ancient Tribal Art.
the owner of the God
One
Staff
moment,
is
please.
responding to Billy's offer.
Billy, Ray Benson's on the phone.
Ray, how are you?
And Ray gets right to the bottom line.
Billy, we started talking to Sotheby's.
So I figured Sotheby's had been in to see you.
I didn't realize it had appreciated as much as it had. If you're really, really interested in it, and if you can come up with $1.25 million, I think we may be able to make a deal.
1.25. That's $1 million more than Billy's first offer. And Ray wants it right now. Billy will have to borrow the money to make it happen. Without ever touching it, this deal is now or never.
I'll email my bank right away, and I'll have the funds wired to you. $1,250,000. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
It's the biggest single deal Billy's ever made. And now, he can't wait to go and get it.
So we got the God Staff. We're going to Cape Cod.
Falmouth, Massachusetts is over 350 years old, and its museum celebrates its heritage as a great 18th century whaling port.
Hello,
Ray.
Bill.
Hey, this is my fiance, Jessica.
Oh, very nice to meet you.
Ray Benson is the museum's director.
Ah, the God Staff.
There it is. It's a gorgeous piece.
It sure is. It was more impressive in person than it was in pictures. Do you know when it came to the museum or how it...
Most of the collection that we have came through Silas Jones. We believe that Captain Silas Jones made many trips and he acquired this.
Silas Jones first went to sea at the age of 16. At 21, natives attacked his ship and killed the captain. Jones took over and remained a captain for 30 more years.
It was sitting here for years and years and years in what was basically an umbrella stand.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. In the world of tribal art, this is like an unknown Picasso or Van Gogh being discovered. This is a total extreme treasure hunting story. Ray, it's been a real pleasure. I can breathe easy. I got my God Staff, and the truth is, you know, when you do these deals, when it comes right down to it, it's not yours till you have it in your hand.
After a long journey across the Pacific and then forgotten for a century in an umbrella stand, the staff of Tangaroa, god of the sea, has a new owner.
To think this was carved with not a modern tool. This piece was carved totally with stone, animal bones, shells, and sanded with shark skin as sandpaper to give it this smooth. It's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. Pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected to be holding or having one of these in my lifetime.
Now the work begins.
Now the work begins.
Now that he owns it, Billy needs to know what it's really worth.
We want to see how this rates in the size.
He starts by comparing it to all the other god staffs.
So, length 34 inches, the head 12 by 5 1/4.
So far, it's bigger than any of the staffs in the famous Oldman collection.
He had exquisite examples. He just had the very best, you know, that was amazing.
I believe at this moment we have the most important piece of tribal art in the world that could be purchased.
If Billy's right, his phone is going to start ringing off the hook.
Bill Jamieson can help you. Hey, Heinrich, how you doing?
And the first call he gets is from Sotheby's in New York.
Guess the head of tribal art at Sotheby's found out that I'd acquired this piece, and it appears they have a client, and they're trying to make me an offer I can't refuse.
But now that he owns it, does Billy really want to sell it? Billy Jamieson just spent over $1 million to buy a rare Polynesian God Staff, and then gets an unexpected phone call.
Bill Jamieson can help you.
He outbid Sotheby's to buy it. Now they want to buy it from him.
Hey, Heinrich, how you doing?
Sotheby's usually sells tribal art at auction, but a client with deep pockets doesn't want any competition.
It appears that they have a client that is very interested in it. I did scoop it from you, and the fact is, I think it's a good karma thing to let you come back in and handle it.
Even better, this buyer wants it bad.
He seems to feel that there's going to be an offer I can't refuse.
Billy knows his God Staff is worth millions, so the offer has to be good.
We both agree that this is the top thing on the market in the world right now.
And it is. The offer is for several million more than he paid for it. Billy can't say no.
It's yours. You're a worthy opponent, but I'm glad that we're able to do business now. Okay, thanks a lot, Heinrich. Sometimes you just have to trust your gut and act quickly and move on these deals as fast as you can.
In the blink of an eye, Billy's bought and sold one of the rarest tribal art treasures in the world.
We just want to get a shot with it before this fellow leaves me. And
Its new owner wants the God Staff in New York tomorrow. But before it goes, Billy wants a portrait for posterity.
I got my God Staff and my hot chick. It's a win-win.
Win-win.
Okay, yeah, make sure it doesn't shift, guys.
The God Staff isn't the only relic getting ready to leave. The mummy Billy just sold is getting crated up and shipped out.
I am going to be sad to see this mummy go, because I'd love to keep them all here. But in this case, he's going to a new home.
Bye-bye.
And it's a good home. Here we go.
24 hours later,
Ready?
Billy and Jessica are in New York.
Hello, Heinrich.
You know, Jessica.
And just like Billy, Heinrich Schweitzer, Sotheby's head of Oceanic Art, can't wait to hold the God Staff.
Jessica's having a real hard time letting go of this thing.
Well, I don't blame you. This is the number 14. Oh my God. Yeah, so beautiful. It's priceless. So I think if you're ready, I'll get the contract now.
Okay, we have a deal.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. This could be one of the biggest sales I've ever made.
So here's the contract, Billy.
I live for the rush of chasing down pieces like this. But once you've done that, the buzz is over. You're on to the next chase. I cannot imagine doing anything else.
Billy sold his God Staff for millions of dollars. It was one of the largest prices ever paid for a single piece of tribal art. Sadly, a short time later, Billy Jamieson passed away.